I got some whiteboard here. I'm gonna do a little bit of a presentation for you guys. A catch-up, right, event that we're doing here.
No mustard. All
After a
ketchup.
couple weeks of some different discussions, and we had Designer Day as well, where we brought people together, designers, which usually, by the way, like you pay like thousands of dollars to have designers come to a land and try to map out things. It's just so cool to bring people together who genuinely care about what we're trying to do here. And there's so many people in our network. The first time, I mean, it blew us away how many people showed up. We're like, oh my gosh, is there gonna be more cars?
Freaked us out, to be honest.
Yeah, so I want you to speak about, you know, what discussions you've had lately with your wife and family and what's been going on. I want to share the designs, some of the designs. I actually had the designers that we had wrote up like actual designs and stuff for us, which I didn't expect them to do. They didn't have to do that. They went all out. Some of them provide a whole plant list and everything. So I have that all printed, and I'll put it on the screen for anybody watching the video as well. But for anybody who's missing this event, that's okay, because you know we are filming it. And if you get to be here, though, for all the people who are here, thank you, because you know you get to be a part of the videos and you get to interact more. And our last video was awesome. I think people loved it. So that's really cool. I want to say thank you to Sarah. She brought a plant here. I want to show this. Look at this, moringa. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, show Sarah over here. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
That was awesome. Super cool. So we can already start planting some things. I brought some sweet potatoes from my house, right? So, and some of you guys, if you want, you can take some as well. I brought a lot. So this is gonna sprawl. It's gonna go crazy. We can already start growing things even with the sand, the soil that we have, but we're going to be trying to remedy this soil and build it up using, you know, compost and wood chips and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that as part of this. But first of all, intentions, right? So Bigfoot Food Forest, we're trying to create a community center. We're trying to bring people together. We're trying to feed the world. We're trying to educate people on the things that they haven't been taught, right? And that's a lot of things, unfortunately. Ryan, I'll let you take the floor on this, what your intentions are so far, everything that's taken place and with your family.
Yeah. Well, we're learning that we both kind of want different things. I would completely open this up to the entire world, where she's more of a private person. I don't think anyone would ever sue, because I would never sue, where she sees everybody is going to sue us. So we're the two opposite sides of it, and until we get to know everyone and really become friends and neighbors, it's hard to tell. You don't know. So that's been what we've been going back and forth on. So moving forward, we're going to have people just fill out something very simple so that, God forbid, something happens, you don't turn around and destroy everything that we've set in motion. So that was like a major hurdle that we had to get over. And then in terms of building the community, Corey would already have 10,000 people here, and we would already have a full pyramid built to the sky, and you know. But for us personally, we're new to this. So like I said, I would go all out, guns blazing, but we're going to take very comfortable steps forward to ensure that happens. So what's special is you guys are part of the initial team, you know, the initial crew as we build our community. But we just want to build it safely, and you know, it's a weird word out there, and people sometimes take their drum out on you, and because it's easier to take it on you than family, right? So that's how it is. So that's a hurdle we've been trying to get over and work through. But what we love about it is obviously bringing the kiddos together and watching them play, watching you guys be able to walk barefoot here, for other people to see the beauty of this little spot that we are so lucky and grateful for. So yeah, it's a learning process. So we've had to learn. I had to tell him, well, we got to slow down for a sec. We got to figure this out. And then I watched his heart go boop, boop. And then I'm like, I don't want to be the bad guy. I really just want to be the good guy. But these, for people listening, these are the steps you have to go through as you form a team and as you learn to work together. So it's all part of the process. So give us prayers and good vibes and whatnot as we channel through this. But besides that, that's really the update. You know, I signed up for Chip Drop, so they wouldn't let me put a picture in, which was kind of a bummer.
So Chip Drop, just so you know, is where you can get like free wood chips like dropped off on the land. And by the way, Shauna gave us a great connection for wood chips locally, and I called the place and they're like, we're just outside the limit. So it's like, I'm trying just to get wood chips, basic wood chips on the property.
Yeah.
If we have to, we might have to rent out a truck where we can pick it up ourselves, and so we'll have to channel the funds. But if we channel the funds, we need to make sure we have a bank account, and we're very transparent with that. So like, I'm trying to make sure all these different things are set up.
And just so people know, I signed up for it, but you can do donation fees. I just signed up, so we're going to see if we get any drops whatsoever. It's also the driveway. We've got a 1/4 mile long sugar sand driveway, which obviously we make in a minivan and we've done in trucks. But to people here the first time, some of them are like, nope, and they don't want to do it. So that they're down to bring it, and if they don't, then we'll start donating to the cause to see if maybe that helps, and then, so we're learning.
Yep.
It's a beautiful process.
Yep. So last time, our last event was Design Day, like I said, where we had 7, 8 different designers come here, some really amazing people. And I just met someone yesterday, Jungle J, if you're watching, super cool. I mean, amazing people that are just they're inspired, they want to help people, and they're also amazed at the fact I'm 24 and trying to do this because they want to pass on their wisdom. Some of them are they've been doing this their whole life, and they're we got to share it. And he was even advising me at one point to say maybe you shouldn't take the permaculture course and get a certificate because we want this to be mainstream. We want everybody to be growing food. It's not about certain people growing food. It's about trying to make this a mainstream thing. They actually applauded me for just starting, just getting food in the ground or just trying to bring people together. And I love seeing that too. That's what makes me happy. So that's Design Day, and then this. So OR and ETE. So OR stands for Origins Reclaimed. Okay, Origins Reclaimed is a platform that Jim Gale, myself, Jazz, Chris, and Dr. Andrea are working on. And we're the core team essentially, and we're inviting a lot of influencers and amazing people worldwide in a worldwide phenomenon. This is aside from this project to get food in the churches, the prisons, the schools, and make this a major thing. Jerry, if you want to turn the camera to yourself, you are also a part of that team.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, and you're part of the schools, and there's a lot of amazing people from different angles, so you might be able to get involved with us with this, or even with the outreach. This is going to be a big marketplace platform where people can sell things, where this is going to be the platform that Jim Gale envisioned for years, right? He finally believes that he's got the people together that can really make it all happen. So we have a website, originsreclaimed.org. Right, and we have a Patreon set up where we're setting a subscription model thing. We're inviting influencers to send in their content. People like Mark Passio, I just talked to him yesterday on the phone.
Awesome.
Yeah, so super cool. But literally, David Icke, Derek Rose, everybody that has a platform. We have a financial model that will make us money, that will contribute to this project and other projects, and create a surplus that can go and benefit the community. So if you want to hear about that, Jim Gale has been doing a lot of interviews, and we're going to be doing a major announcement on April 27th on Braveheart Nation, which is a new platform that's going to have hundreds of thousands of viewers. It already does. And I'm starting a live show on that Monday, which is
tomorrow.
2 days from now. Yeah, so
no.
And I'm titling it Corey Nature's the Answer Live because that's my channel name. And so I'll be streaming every Monday around 3 p.m. or so. And so that's the big plan. ETE stands for Empower the Era. Empower the Era is the name of the college group that I'm trying to start at USF. And when I say I'm trying to start, it's already starting. This Wednesday is my first event.
Yay!
And so, yes, very good stuff. Jerry is also part of that and has been very helpful. And again, I welcome anybody to be a part of this. It's amazing, just meeting new people. I went there every Wednesday, handing out over 300 flyers, and sometimes sitting there for hours, handing them out and talking to people. So it's really important to me. If we get the younger generation involved, the potential is exponential, right? So that's huge. All these updates between this project, the worldwide project, the college project, I'm working on all fronts here. Now, I'm going to erase this.
When you only sleep for an hour a night, you can truly accomplish so many wonderful
It's true.
things.
It really is.
Is there
I ought to be 24 again.
Is there any questions so far? And I do have to think about my future because, I think a lot of people are thinking about their future and they're worried about the world that's coming. And so trying to work on different levels for how we can prevent a collapse, or how people can have food security, or how people can be connected. There's a lot to things to consider. But with the time that I have right now, since I do not work, this is my work. I'm putting my work into this, and I want to make sure it becomes profitable over time, right? So that's a big thing here as well.
Yep.
And I'll share some stuff about that. But first of all, the 508 C1A, right? This is a church structure that we plan on doing here, or a nonprofit, 501c3. And we're going to have a sign-in paper. Now, this is going to be modeled, or could be modeled, off of the Florida Community of Mindfulness. There's a group in Tampa that I go to Qigong every Wednesday for free. And they have a simple sign-in paper when you walk in through the door. just to say like, this is my name, I was here. But when you're signing in, you're also saying like, hey, they're not liable for anything that goes on. I didn't even know that. I was signing in each week, it's just like a sign-in sheet, just so they can keep in touch with you. But this is a very simple thing. They operate completely through donations, and they're pretty much 100% off-grid at this point. And they've been there for over 30 years in Florida. They're really cool people. David, if you're watching from Qigong, awesome. We can do Qigong here. I can probably start up classes soon if I wanted to. I can teach it myself. I know a lot of the moves at this point. Also, Ken, thank you. You shared a land use agreement with me, so thank you for sharing like a solution like that. Yeah, if you don't mind going on camera. Thank you for doing that. Very helpful to have people who are like, hey, what about this option? So I have that, for you on hand, so we can check out. I make sure to forward the emails. When it comes to making money, for me, it's about like stacking functions. You know how like when you grow food, you stack functions like, oh, this plant goes here, this plant goes there, and you're trying to incorporate other elements. If we, decide to do things, I want to tell you a story, and if my mom comes by later, she can tell you. She hosted like a tea party, and the expenses were like out of control. She's like, if you're going to the tea business, you're gonna make a lot of money. They were doing tea and scones, and they were like charging so much money for it. And it's like, when you consider that and you add on the plant value of these plants, they become bigger and that becomes a nursery, like the plant you just gave us, right? That's going to grow exponentially. And as people take cuttings and they put it in their backyard, that's going to grow exponentially. It's a free energy system. And then the value of just the community coming together, like I said, that church that is completely based on donations. They haven't got a single amount of money from any other source. It's all donations, and they've been there for over 30 years. I mean, right? That's incredible. It's just because people value what they do. So I did want to mention that, Florida Community of Mindfulness, if you guys don't know who they are. Now, wood chips, we do want help with that. Since he did mention chip drop is not necessarily a good option. If it's going to take a month, that's pretty crazy.
Well, it could be today. They could show up in a truck and just pull in. That's how it works. So we're like, okay, that's fun.
All right, so yeah, I mean, if you guys know a better source for wood chips in the area, let us know. Otherwise, we might want to do something where we rent a truck. But like I said, then I have to set up the bank account, and that's probably going to come after the 508c1a type of structure, so we can set up the EIN number and all the fancy stuff. So another thing too, if you guys have local restaurants, right, places that are really cool, mom and pop shops or whatever, and they have food scraps, let us know, because that can be really helpful for building soil. Like, we can go there with like big bins or whatever every so now and then, or find a way to basically bring it to the land. And if you guys have food scraps, please bring it. So even if you don't have a plant to share, I'm sure you have some sort of food scrap that you can share. And super welcome, that would be really cool. So I figured to mention that. A question I want to put out there for anybody watching as well is, what can we do weekly, right? So, we want to do these events perhaps more often, and you said like this month, maybe even more than once a week, possibly. Yeah. So if that's the case, I wanted to do some music, some bonfire, right? Some different things like that. You mentioned sound bowls, right? And so I want to hear you guys' suggestions on what we should do weekly. Maybe you guys have some really good ideas I'm not thinking about. I know that some of those palm trees can be cut, right? Yeah. I know that we can probably gather some palms around the area and start making the foundation for the compost pile. I know that we
had a wood chipper. There's wood everywhere. I could be
a wood chipper.
I should just. Okay. I could be creative, but I'm looking at Marketplace and waiting for one to come.
Okay, well that's smart. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, and so another thing, we might do a building day, because there's a lot of builders, and it doesn't mean necessarily building a huge tea house or anything like crazy yet, but simple things like a sign for the front, right? Or a billboard. Otherwise, of course I'm using this right now. But no, a billboard just for like updates, and so people know what's going on, and like to-dos and stuff like that. And maybe near the front, so people see like what's going on.
Switch from scary signs to welcoming signs.
Yeah, because right now it's like, stay out, Bigfoot is on premises, which he might be. I mean, you might come out of the forest any moment.
Yeah, that's what's beautiful about this place. We're cohabitating.
He's protecting us. So yeah, and so we can cut palm trees. I didn't know if you wanted to do that today. I was like, I gave him a message. I'm like,
we're gonna feel it out.
Okay. But if you guys want to have some fun, we'll see. There's still going to be some people trickling by later today. But I like the fact that we have this chill get together, and we're just coming back, in the momentum. And when we're ready, we'll bring a lot more people back. It was a lot in the first day, and so maybe we'll do another camera little like skit like we did last time. I thank everybody for watching. I want to share here these designs. You gotta check these out. So these are things that people made. Now, this was my original sketch just on my own of like, hey, you know, this is what I envisioned, like with a tea house and pavilions and a food forest around it, right? It's nothing crazy, but it was just like an idea of mine, and I was open to different, you know, interpretations of different visions. So I'll show you the different documents that I've created and other people created as well, right? So this is a general plan that has like everything. So there's got a design layout, right? And then you got different designers, and mentions our whole network, all the people that we're connected to, all the businesses, right? All these people we can reach out to. A lot of these people I've not reached out to. They don't really know about everything that's going on. I try reaching out. There's a lot of people, right? So it depends on also what we need. If there's certain services or businesses for different processes. Like, of course, Moonberry is where we started in Tarpon Springs, you know, doing events there monthly. That's huge. And I want to still set up a newspaper with her, but she's opening up her bakery, which has been in the process for like a whole year. So that's been taking up a lot of her time. She's also trying to find staff right now. So there's a lot of different things that are kind of keeping her busy. But we're still in touch, and we want to make sure it happens. And I want to make it as easy as possible for people. Here's a whole step-by-step process. And basically we're up here. We are still following that process. We're going to be meeting with Pat Miletich, right, who is a UFC world champion, who's now doing soil solutions, and he can come here and he can help us rebuild the soil without necessarily all the wood chips and without all the things that people have been using in permaculture. It's very unique solutions, and that can actually get us a profit. He actually goes around the whole nation saving people's soil and farmers. So it's incredible stuff. You can see this is a whole list I made of different plants. So I did my research, like, you know, as a quasi designer, or, you know, somebody who's not really a designer, but somebody who can find information online. And there's plenty of plants that actually can grow in sand as well. I was talking about how we can have like a pecan farm or a cucumber farm, but, you know. But here's a list from Jim Gale. Look at all these different businesses and solutions. If we want to go off grid, if we want to use water solutions, look at all these businesses. So I'm going to give this to you as well, so you can look over this. Awesome. And maybe make some connections. But amazing people. So this is all the people that he hired at Galt's Landing, and there's more, but this is like the bulk of it. And so this is very big for us to network with all these folks and get in touch with them. Here is an email from Kevin Fretz regarding perhaps setting up a boutique center here that makes money, an ROI system. So I'll be giving you this to look over, you know, with your wife and stuff. And you know, I also have a second part of the email here where I kind of asked him more questions. I was like curious, like, what's up with the cost, and like, how do we know this is going to work? He sets up a whole team. Like, he gets it all ready for you. So it's like you plug and play, which is very interesting, because it's like he'll set up a specific ROI model suited to this land to make sure it works. So it's a little bit more risky because you have this initial investment. Pat Miletich is offering another option. Of course, we can incorporate both of them to some extent, but I think we're going to talk to Pat Miletich first, since his stuff is less costly to begin, and then go from there. And again, I'm open to everybody's input. This is Michelle. Look at this design that she made. Yeah, right? Very cool. Look at this, guys. So this is a design that she made. See that, right? It's pretty cool, right? It's beautiful. Yeah, so you can hold that up if you want. So, I mean, she wrote that. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? So, and just drawing
and all in watercolors. You know how hard it is to work in watercolor?
Wow.
That's what it looks like. You know?
Shauna made a whole list of plants, so she's one of the designers as well. She was here, and she said, clear out the majority of the underbrush against the neighbor's property, install a bamboo border to help with wind and cold protection, and then she gave us a list of different plants and even started and everything for us. So thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Michelle. Awesome stuff. And then Carlos as well. Carlos gave us instructions on how to do layering for the compost system. Very step-by-step. I asked for more specifics. He got more specific with it, so I provided more context. And he also wrote up a nice little diagram here, you guys can see, taking the property and then just putting it directly on the map.
Wow.
Isn't that very cool? Look at that.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
so you can take
wow, yeah, they dialed it right in.
Yeah, so isn't that really cool? I mean, I thought that was awesome. The fact that, you know, we have those resources with us. I don't think there's much else to go over here, but this has been pretty long as it is. So thank you, everybody. Any
Yay.
questions, any comments, anything you guys want to say?
Well, I was just going to say, as we build the Freedom Farm Academy private membership association structure, we're, you know, definitely willing to share some things we've learned in that process and journey. Should you ever want to generate revenue that way as well?
Yeah, we definitely thought about it since we're homeschooling.
Yeah.
It's like, it would kind of neat to have.
And there's a way that you can structure it where you can call it a homeschooling co-op, you know what I mean? But have like faculty, and so we can talk more about that. But there's lots of possibilities for you to make, you know, a sustainable revenue for this project for sure. Yeah.
But, you know, I have these papers for you guys, so if you guys want to look over this while you're here, and then I'll have it for future occasions and as things evolve. And like I said, for anybody watching as well, thank you very much for watching, and I appreciate it. Bigfoot Food Forest. Yeah. Finding Bigfoot, right? Season 3? Yeah. Oh, you know her?
Jack in the pulpit.
Okay. How do you find this? Who knows? He was high on shrooms one night. Wandered into the forest. It called him. Bigfoot showed him. He walked with him.
Yeah, the whole Florida little Bigfoot thing is interesting.
I mean, I had a friend in PA who was thought that he had a Bigfoot sighting as well.
In the Pennsylvania area?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I did a whole interview with Ryan on Bigfoot. It's like 45 minutes. It's really deep.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you should check it out.
Welcome to the Wild Grove. Well, now can you imagine me walking out here just trying to see what kind of land we're on and see what we got? And the first time, I have to be honest, I didn't observe them because, like most of us, I walk with my head down. Now, granted, I have a good reason because I'm looking for Bigfoot tracks, but it's still not a good excuse for not looking up and seeing. Wow. So when I first saw it, super bloom back there in the tree back there, you can see it. Keep turning, see it.
Yep.
And you guys happen to be here right when it's
there we go.
almost perfect time for it.
There we go. Now we've played the game of who gets hit on the head first.
Yeah. And
Oh, and that almost happened.
My kids, and me, or
Oh, that one's riper. That one's ripe.
Yeah, and you don't want, you don't need a whole lot of oranges because trust me, they're very sour. They get some taking used to. But if you bake a lot, you want to make pies, then yes, it's a great occasion. Florida orange sour pie.
yeah, we got to look into that because I've never even heard of that.
I tell you, if you look up several oranges, that's the only recipe you will find. It's a Florida famous recipe.
It smells amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah, you can smell it.
They're sour, but they smell really good.
I know. Well, the tangerines are really good though. Like they actually taste good.
I remember every time coming to Florida growing up, it was all orange groves.
Well, citrus green has killed off most of the crop.
Yeah, which is
Oh, almost got yourself.
It's an insect that deposits a bacteria.
Indiana Jones over
Really?
here.
Yeah, an insect that deposits a bacteria into the trunk of the tree, into the core of the tree, and then the oranges won't ripen. So it
right.
came from Asia in imports,
Chinese
and now it's
again.
in California. Oh yeah, I mean, but yeah, it would have come in on imports, but yeah.
what is it, hon? Oh, good. Well, that's good.
Where is he going?
Well, he knows where they all are, and I did a rudimentary path because I don't want to destroy nature, but also how dare you come prepared.
Choose where you want to put it. Anywhere you want to put it. By the way, if this was Pennsylvania, the first minute you'd hit rocks. It's over. Usually when you do an install, they get rid of the grasses. Like if you get someone to go to your backyard and put in the food, they get rid of all the grasses. They use like a sod cutter, or they suppress the grass using cardboard. And then they put wood chips on top of that and use this to grow it. As the wood chips basically decompose, it turns into new soil. And So whether you have really sandy soil or whatever, like we have here, the wood chips make new soil. And so that's why we also want kitchen scraps. We mentioned that too.
Oh, yeah.
If you know any restaurants or cool people who are like, we can maybe partner with to bring more kitchen scraps, we'll get a big bucket and we'll just dump it here. We need a lot of compost. So even if you have that for your house. Yeah, oh, that's fine. I mean, like, the chickens are part of the ecosystem. And Jim has them too. He's got turkeys, he's got all the animals too.
I had to get some sticks so we could mark where the spots were.
Oh, that's smart.
You know,
Okay.
it'll help us a little bit more. What a good plan, because that's the one thing I had done. Like I built the garden, I put it in, it didn't grow there. I'm like, what do I do now? I can't go build another garden somewhere. So by experimenting, I think that's key.